More bad Cole Caufield news is rolling in by the second as we have some new information saying just how long this shoulder injury was lingering for him. Next, we'll be getting into Sam Montembeault and a stat that shows that he might be a top 10 NHL goalie. And finally, we got a little prospect update about some amazing performances from some of your Habs favorites, so you don't want to miss anything I have to say on this edition of Habs Digest. Hello, bonjour, ahoy, and welcome to today's news edition of Habs Digest. I'm your host, Josh Gosse. Quick reminder before we get into the video to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here or you're returning and you haven't hit that button yet. It'd be really appreciated. Let's get into topic 1 today. Cole Caufield has been injured for 6 months. No, that's not a typo. No, you didn't hear me wrong. Maybe you've seen this already, maybe not, but we got to show you. According to Renaud Lavoie, of course a French Habs reporter, Pat Brisson, Cole Caufield's agent, said Cole wanted to play, but after understanding the complexity of his injury, he lost his smile. Cole felt the pain since 6 months ago, or he's been feeling pain for 6 months. Now you can look at this 2 ways. If you look at this the good way, the nice way, Cole Caufield was on pace for well over 40 goals while having a lingering shoulder injury since the start of the season. This guy is literally one of the best goal scorers in the NHL with a bum shoulder. So that's the good side of it. Like, this guy is still going to be amazing, and I'm sure after he gets the surgery and no longer has pain, he'll be even better, firing pucks probably through the netting. His shot will be way harder, who knows. But on the other side, and the side that maybe I'm more likely to take, is why have we been letting him play for that long? We knew this team wasn't going to be competitive. Maybe we needed him on the opening night roster, right? For the fans. Everyone wants to see Cole Caufield, and he had an incredibly hot start. The Habs had a great hot start, and maybe they wanted to keep him going. They said, Cole, are you hurt? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. I should be fine. But understanding now, seeing the complexity that he's going to have to miss another 6 months, 8 months of time because of the surgery, was that really worth it? I mean, again, I don't know the internal workings of the Habs medical staff and who they're evaluating. Kent Hughes actually had an interview where he said that the Habs medical staff is going to be under a bit of scrutiny. They're going to have to try and understand why Montreal, of all teams, has some of the most time lost for player injuries of any team, the most recurring injuries, by far the most back injuries, like all kinds of different injuries coming out of Montreal. And even Eric Engels, the Habs reporter, stepped in on this. You can see Sportsnet tweeted the Habs say Caufield was playing with a shoulder injury that will require season-ending surgery for a while, and we now know that that while was 6 months. Why their medical staff would allow him to do so is absolutely mind-boggling, which is an article that Eric Engels wrote, and he said the right decision was made in the end, but it's hard to understand why it wasn't made sooner. A pattern when it comes to the Canadiens that needs to be evaluated by management, and so it did. Like we said, Kent Hughes was asked about it straight up, like, what are you going to do about this? Because it's not just having your players get hurt. Sometimes freak accidents happen and your team gets a lot of injuries. But there's been a consistent pattern with Montreal players of them getting re-injured after coming back or being rushed back. And even Kent Hughes said Brendan Gallagher is one of those guys that loves to rush back. He said that Mike Matheson coming back and getting injured again was just a coincidence because he got hit in a certain way that just tweaked his past injury. Fine. But the problem is this is not just now, it's been for years. And with this new Cole Caufield news that the medical staff has been like, yeah, he's in pain and this team is bad. Like, oh, but no, he's fine. He can play. For 6 months in a year where we kind of want a good draft pick, it's extremely questionable, and it raises some suspicions about the medical staff and what their motives are. I obviously they're professionals, way better than me. I'm not saying that these guys are doing anything on purpose, but what I am saying is that it definitely deserves the deep dive that the Habs management is giving it, and honestly, some scrutiny is deserved, but at the end of the day, we know Caufield is going to come back next season, hopefully at 100%, and that's all we can ask for, but I figured I'd give you guys this update on just how long he has been nursing this injury. Topic 2. A little bit of a lighter note. Sam Montembeault, as we all know, has been dominant for Montreal as of late, putting up crazy performances against some very good teams, and I got a stat here that shows you that he, by one statistic, I mean, it's only one statistic. I mean, look, is he really a top 10 goalie in the NHL? I don't think most people would say so. But now, after his recent stretch, is he a top 10 for the past, couple weeks? I would say so for sure. And if you look at this here, goals saved above expected leaders in all situations for all of the NHL, expected goals against minus goals against. So basically, Jay Fresh, Top Down Hockey, they have an algorithm to say, like, what is the expected amount of goals that are going to be scored on you versus how many you actually let in. And the difference is this stat here, the goals saved above expected. You can see it's topped by the guys that you would expect. Ilya Sorokin, who has been maybe the best goalie in the NHL this year. Linus Ullmark also has that case with his insane record with Boston. But if you go down there to number 8, you have Sorokin, Saros, Ottinger, Ullmark, Hellebuyck, Shesterkin, and Vasilevsky. And then Sam Montembeault slides in at number 8. And I think that's amazing. We know he's been playing super well, and we know that Montreal has, for sure, allowed a lot of expected goals against Sam Montembeault that he's had to bail them out of. But to see him at 8th, like just behind literally probably the top 7 goalies in all of hockey, it's kind of insane. This guy has been doing so well for Montreal, and this is a cumulative stat too. This isn't a rate stat, as in, like, this isn't per game, this is total. And we know Jake Allen has played most of the season, while if you look at this graphic again, most of these other guys, pretty much all of them, are the bona fide starters, the number 1 guys for each of their team, all the guys above Montembeault, and they play the vast majority of games. But Monty has not. His performance as of late has shot him up into the top 10, and like I said, over the past maybe 2 weeks, he has legitimately been a top 10 goalie in the NHL, and no, I don't think long-term he's going to stay that, but Kent Hughes has expressed the fact that he doesn't want to move Montembeault. He wants to keep him around, I assume as maybe a temporary starter until we find another goalie prospect or sign one, or maybe a great, amazing backup for whenever we do get our goalie of the future to maybe replace Jake Allen. Who knows what our goalie situation is going to look like come the next few years, but Montembeault has been improving not only every season of his career, but really every game. We saw some great stretches earlier in the year, went through a rough patch, but now he is dominant minus like one rough performance against the Panthers, which we can't even put on him because the Panthers had 4 power play goals in a single period on him. He only let in 1 even strength goal in that game. So it's like, this guy has legitimately been amazing, and as a Habs fan, even though, the only problem is he's pulling us out of the basement. Like, he is giving us wins. He basically gave us that win against the Leafs plus our AHL guys, so there's some good, some bad for Sam Montembeault, but realistically, him performing well is awesome, and it's great to see him crack the top 10 on a list like that. Final topic of today. Quick Lane Hutson and Riley Kidney update. Lane Hutson, my personal favorite Habs prospect, has been amazing. We saw him at the World Juniors, and he was involved in the play that gave the United States that bronze medal in the bronze medal game, and he was really, really good. Riley Kidney, we know, we made a video on him being traded in a blockbuster QMJHL trade for a lot of draft picks and a guy named Bobby Orr, which is kind of hilarious. But anyway, let's get in first to Lane Hutson. I would say, well, wrong one. There we go. This is Lane Hutson. But look at this. So this is a list I found. Someone posted this on Reddit, and Lane Hutson, this is on Quant Hockey. You can sort it by any given time frame. So this is in the last 20 years, from 2002, 2003 to 2022, 2023, and it's sorted by defenseman points per game. Lane Hutson literally has the highest points per game as an 18-year-old NCAA defenseman in the last 20 years. Now, I know we're only 22 games in the season, and all these other seasons, except for Keandre Miller's, have at least a 35-game sample size, but still, to be at 1.23 points per game, one of only 3 defensemen to even be at a point per game at 18 years old is insane. This guy's offensive potential is off the charts, and I'm super excited to see what he'll eventually do on the Habs power play. Hopefully his size won't make a difference, but like we said, he's growing. He's 5'9", 5'10" now, which is really not that short. He needs to put on a bit of weight, that's for sure. He's still skinny. I think listed at like 135 pounds or something, but the fact that he is right now keeping pace with these amazing players, and again, look at the guys on this list: Adam Fox, Zach Werenski, Luke Hughes, Justin Falk, Keandre Miller, Jack Johnson. I mean, Ryan Ufko, that season just happened, last year, and Jacob Trouba. These are a lot of very solid, long-tenured NHL players, so the fact that he's there with them and doesn't look like he's stopping anytime soon is amazing. But he's not the only guy I wanted to talk about. Like I mentioned, we had Riley Kidney, and I accidentally flashed his picture up a second ago, but since his trade to Gatineau from Acadie Bathurst, he had 45 points in 31 games in Acadie Bathurst, but in 7 games for Gatineau so far, he has 19 points. He is almost on a 3-point-per-game pace with his new team. This brings him up to 64 points in 48 games this season in the Q, which is just way higher than it was before, and he looks like a legitimate QMJHL superstar. Again, we know a lot of guys have been touted as, bona fide point getters in the queue. Oh, these guys are going to be amazing. Jonathan Drouin is one example. Looked like he had all the potential. But to be fair, he's been in the league for a long time. at the very least, with Riley Kidney's recent production, I don't see why he can't crack the Habs roster in the next year or two. This guy legitimately just has a ton of offensive talent. He is showing it in the queue, and I don't see why it won't eventually translate to the NHL. The only issue, again, you look at him, I mean, he's not that heavy. He's 6 foot 175, which actually is not that small. He's 6 feet tall. Maybe he could put on a few more pounds at 175, but he's more of a skilled guy, so it's okay, right? You can live with that. And once you get to the NHL, once you grow, you'll become stronger, know how to use that body better. So it's some amazing Habs prospect news, and I'm sure you guys will enjoy. But other than that, that'll do it for this edition of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We love your guys' support. The last few videos have been doing amazing. You guys loved that Caufield video, so really appreciate you guys tuning into everything we post here, and we hope it continues long into the future. I'm your host, Josh Gosse. We'll catch you in the next one.